The South China Sea has been a hotly contested region for decades. Multiple countries have claimed ownership of the islands and waters within the region. China has been one of the most aggressive, claiming almost the entire South China Sea as its own. This has led to tensions with India and with other countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia. How has China been expanding its influence in the South China Sea? Who's opposing China's claims? And what is the impact to India? These are the core questions. Hello and welcome to The Core Questions. In recent years, China has been expanding its influence in the South China Sea through a series of actions, including the construction of artificial islands, military deployments, and the establishment of administrative units in the disputed areas. China also has been increasing its naval presence in the region, conducting regular patrols and exercises. One of China's most controversial actions in the South China Sea has been the construction of artificial islands on several reefs and shoals. These islands, which have been equipped with runways, ports, and other facilities, have allowed China to project its military power further in the region. China has also installed military equipment, including missile systems and radars, on some of the islands, raising concerns among the other countries about China's true intentions. China has also established administrative units in the disputed areas, which it claims as part of its own territory. These units are responsible for managing the islands and waters within their jurisdiction, further strengthening China's control over the region. China has also been conducting regular patrols and exercises in the South China Sea, with its Navy and Coast Guard vessels frequently encountering ships from other countries. China's actions in the South China Sea have raised concerns among other countries in the region, as well as the international community. The United States of America has been particularly vocal in opposing China's claims and actions in the region, conducting freedom of navigation operations to challenge China's claims. In fact, America has been conducting the freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea to counter China's claims and actions. In 2020, the US conducted 10 such operations, compared to 8 in 2019 and 6 in 2018. Other countries, including Australia and Japan, have also conducted similar operations in the South China Sea. The US has also conducted freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea to challenge China's territorial claims and has expressed support for a binding code of conduct. Japan has also sold military ships and equipment to the Philippines and Vietnam to enhance their maritime security. Other countries in the region, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia, have competing claims in the South China Sea and have expressed their concerns about China's actions. The Permanent Court of Arbitration at The Hague ruled in favor of the Philippines in a claim against China under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, but China rejected its authority. The problem is that China claims almost the entire South China Sea, including areas that are also claimed by other countries such as the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia. In particular, China claims the 9-dash line, which encompasses around 80% of the South China Sea. But the 9-dash line overlaps with the exclusive economic zone claims of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. The other problem is that China has gone ahead and constructed artificial islands on 7 reefs and shoals in the South China Sea, including the Mischief Reef, Subi Reef, and the Fiery Cross Reef. These islands cover over 3,000 acres and have been equipped with ports, runways, and other facilities by China. The country has also installed military equipment on some of these artificial islands, including surface-to-air missile systems and jamming equipment. China has also constructed radar facilities, hangars, and other structures that could be used for military purposes. In addition to this, China has established administrative units in the disputed areas, including a prefecture-level city called Sansha on Woody Island in the Paracel Islands. Sansha is responsible for administering several islands and reefs in the South China Sea, including those that are also claimed by Vietnam and the Philippines. In 2019, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel rammed and sank a Vietnamese fishing boat near the Paracel Islands, sparking massive protests from Vietnam. And speaking of protests, India gets massively impacted by these illegal actions by China. First of all, India sees China's actions in the South China Sea as a threat to the regional balance of power, as China's aggressive tactics and claims of disputed islands have led to rising tensions in the region. This has prompted India to bolster its naval presence in the region and also forge ties with countries like Vietnam. Secondly, India's utilitarian interests in the South China Sea have also been impacted by China's expanding influence. India has significant energy interests in the region and relies on freedom of navigation in the South China Sea for its trade and commerce. Lastly, China's attempts to curb India's military footprint and cooperation with regional countries have also impacted India's engagement in the South China Sea. India has historically taken a neutral position in the disputes in the region, but has been prompted to increase its engagement due to China's actions and the strategic weight of the Indo-Pacific region. Overall, China's expanding influence in the South China Sea has impacted India's interests and prompted it to increase engagement in the region to counter China's actions. But why does China want the South China Sea so badly? From a historical standpoint, the South China Sea is the epicenter of the Indo-Pacific, and given diplomatic tensions and a growing global economy, the South China Sea's strategic significance is expected to grow further. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, more than 80% of international trade is carried by sea in 2021, with Asia accounting for 54% of global maritime trade. Pandemic uncertainty, however, persists in the form of supply chain disruption, changes in globalization patterns, transportation costs, and port congestion. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, global maritime trade recovered in 2021. It's also predicted that trade volumes would increase at a 2.4% annual rate between 2022 and 2026. Having said this, China's growing influence in the South China Sea has alarmed other countries in the region as well as the international community, who have strongly opposed China's illegal claims and actions in the region. Please share this video and like and subscribe as well. Thanks for watching The Core Questions by The Times of India. Until next time, this is Priyanka Deo signing off. Namaste.